Okay, guys, I am super excited to kick off our ingredient edit for tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Larry, and I am a self-proclaimed researcher. I love looking into products, I love the science, I love getting into the nitty-gritty, and then I love taking that information and making it something that's hopefully digestible and easy to understand. So you come away from these little episodes with more information and feeling informed to be able to make a purchase or a change in your life that benefits you. So, tonight we're talking about all things anthocyanin and meta. So it might sound like I'm speaking a different language, but I'm going to break everything down for you and make it really easy to understand. If you have any questions, throw it in the chat or feel free to say something. But we're going to get going because this is a goodie. We'll say that. So we're talking all about anthocyanins, but I want to start with this question first. So why are so many of the foods we think of as superfoods purple, blue, red, or deeply pigmented? So think about like blueberries, blackberries, bilberries, black currants, purple sweet potatoes, black rice, those dark red purple grapes. The color, it's pretty, not gonna lie, I love purple, but it's not just pretty, it's actually chemistry. So in plants, that deep color often acts like a stress shield. So plants can't run from the sunlight, they can't run from the heat, they can't protect themselves from environmental stress or damage. So they create protective compounds. Anthocyanins are one of those families of compounds that actually protects the plant. So the color in itself is the protection. You've probably heard things like eat the rainbow, or the more colors on your plate, the better. All those different colors in fruits and veggies contain different types of polyphenols, antioxidants, and compounds. And that's really why it is so important to eat the rainbow, mix up the colors. But this deep purple, red, and almost black blue, super powerful. So anthocyanins are natural plant compounds responsible for those deep colors, the purple, reds, and blues, almost black. It's found in certain fruits, veggies, and grains. They're part of the flavonoid family. So with that, they've been studied for their role in antioxidant defense, so how they protect our body. They also are shown to have help improve your inflammatory response, vascular function, glucose metabolism, lipid metabolism, and overall metabolic wellness. Like when I say it touches so many different wellness systems, it really does touch so many different areas of your body. So this isn't just like berries are healthy and you should eat berries. This is researchers looking at specific plant compounds and asking, how do these compounds help the body respond to modern day stresses? So what does that look like today? Why does that matter? Modern life creates a lot of metabolic stress, not just from food. So think about it. We have, maybe we don't all, but some of us have poor sleep, constant stimulation, high stress, busy schedules. We're eating on the go. That typically looks like ultra processed foods, blood sugar swings. We have oxidative stress, inflammatory stress. And at the end of the day, I can probably say most of us aren't getting enough colorful foods in our diet. I see lots of head shaking up and down. I would love to eat all the colors, but sometimes you just can't. Your body can't eat that much food. Um, so most people aren't getting anywhere near the meaningful amount of anthocyanins to make a difference just through their diet. So studies show average intakes around 25 milligrams a day, and studies show we should have at least 80 milligrams or more per day. So the research shows 80 milligrams per day, you start to see benefits, but the real pluses with the antioxidants and the anti-inflammatory effects is around 160 milligrams per day. Meta, just to give you guys a sneak peek, 215 milligrams of the standardized dose, meaning we know it's exactly 215 milligrams of anthocyanin. So well above what the study showed as being the active amount we need to be able to make an impact in our body. With our ingredient edit this week, I'm going to give you guys some woes because there are lots of woes. So these are facts from my research that were literal mic drop moments for me. I was like, whoa, I need to share this. This is so cool. Whoa, hence the woe. So woe factor number one, the dose matters. So this is one of the biggest things I want everyone to understand. With ingredients, dosage makes a big difference. So a randomized dose response study looked at anthocyanin intake across all different levels, 40, 80, 160, and 320 milligrams per day. The goal being, what does our body actually need to see an impact? One key finding, like I said, was the 80 milligram per day or more showed meaningful effects on platelet function and oxidative stress markers. Told you Meta's 215 milligrams. When the dose lines up with the research, I'm not making that up. That really makes a big difference because you're actually getting the bang for your buck. Woe factor number two, anthocyanins and metabolic markers. So a meta-analysis, which that means they just analyze multiple studies on the same subject, It looked at 32 different randomized controlled trials. 32 trials. That's a lot. They found anthocyanins had a significant positive effect on several cardiometabolic markers, including your fasting glucose levels and your 2-hour post-meal glucose level and your A1C. So this 8-week study was performed on those with type 2 diabetes and those who were considered pre-diabetic, and they saw a significant reduction in A1C, especially with those with type 2 diabetes. And the strongest effects were found in those that were using a supplement or extracted form, not just in taking it through their diet. On top of that, we see improvements with total cholesterol. So we're talking about HDL, LDL, and your triglycerides. So a 2023 meta-analysis of 41 different studies, over 3,000 participants were looked at. They found anthocyanins reduced LDL and triglycerides while increasing HDL, your healthy cholesterol. Anthocyanins have been studied in human trials for their role in supporting healthy cardiometabolic health, especially in those with hyperglycemia or those that are overweight or obese. So what you'll see, there's a common thread through all of this. The way that the anthocyanin compound works is the more your body needs, the bigger the benefit. If you're a healthy adult eating the right foods, you won't see as big of a change because you don't have as big as the gap to fill. So it totally makes sense. And honestly, the biggest thing that surprised me while researching all this was how many systems it impacted: blood sugar, circulation, oxidative stress, inflammation, gut health, even your brain and cognition. And that's when I was like, okay, it's not just healthy berries. It really is so much more. Woe factor number 3. This one's really cool. The high fat meal study. So there's a study that shows they gave participants a high fat, high calorie meal and studied what happened when they consumed it with it's a type of anthocyanin, cyanidin and delphinidin, which I'm only saying that because it's important to remember for the end of this. So those are 2 of the 4 different types of anthocyanins there are. The meal is roughly 1,000 calories. So to put that into perspective, that's me going to McDonald's, getting a Big Mac and a large fry. That's 1,000 calories right there. So high fat, high calorie meal. Don't ask me how I know that. It's one of my guilty pleasures. um, and why is this important? This study matters because our lives aren't perfect. I try to eat healthy as often as I can, but life happens. Sometimes you're out and about and you grab whatever you can. Sometimes you make that knee-jerk response. People eat when they're stressed. People have inconsistent schedules, and people have days where your nutrition just isn't ideal. So what did they see in this study? This is cool. So the study showed that it helped blunt the post-meal inflammatory response, less inflammation after eating a high-fat, high-calorie meal. They also showed a decrease in oxidative stress. And the study also showed improvements in vascular function after the high-fat meal. And why is that crazy? So normally a high-fat meal temporarily impairs your endothelial function, your blood vessel responsiveness, which means the body handled the metabolic challenge much better than it usually would have. So instead of having a negative impact or staying flat, it actually improved, which is awesome. So at the end of the day, this isn't like a whatever you want to eat, you can eat when you're on meta kind of vibe, but it's a supplement that works perfect for when life has the hiccups, to be able to make sure you don't feel those hiccups as much as you normally would. Because I'm sure you guys have had that meal and you get that blood sugar crash and you had that sluggish, all the things, all the after effects. This is where it shines. Woe factor number 4, circulation and vascular health. So studies have looked at things like endothelial function, blood vessel responsiveness, platelet activity, oxidative stress, and circulation-related markers. One of the strongest recurring findings is an improvement in, it's called FMD. So it's flow-mediated dilation. And what that means is it measures how well the blood vessels relax and respond to your activity and what you're doing. So anthocyanin interventions repeatedly improved endothelial function, vasodilation, and vascular responsiveness. And this matters because endothelial function is tied to cardiovascular disease, metabolic dysfunction, aging, and impaired circulation. So metabolic health is not just one thing isolated, and it impacts so many different systems of your body: your blood sugar, cholesterol, circulation, inflammation, oxidative stress, gut health, and energy. All of that's connected. Studies also showed a lowered blood pressure, the biggest lowering of blood pressure in those that were pre-hypertensive, obese, or had metabolic syndrome. So like I said, it has the biggest impact on those that need it the most. And this is why they're so interesting. They're not being studied for one tiny pathway. They're a part of the bigger conversation across your entire body. Woe factor number 5, you guys ready for this? 7 years of research. So this is something that I really, really want to emphasize. This little guy with these purple pills in here, Nuskin, spent 7 years researching anthocyanins, looking at different plant sources, identifying the compounds they wanted to focus on, and developing a formula that delivers a standardized 250 milligram dose of anthocyanins per serving. Told you guys there's four different types of anthocyanins. The two we researched were, uh, oh no, I need to go back and look because they were funny names. Um, were the ones that matter that had the biggest impact on our cardiovascular health. So, and why does this matter? Ingredient form matters, dosing matters, standardization matters because we can guarantee the amount per pill, which is really important because that can vary greatly. Consistency matters and the research matters. You can eat at purple foods, blue foods, red foods, those black, purple. And I totally suggest you still do that even while you're taking Meta because you can't get anything but benefits from eating those. They're high in fiber and nutrients, but most people aren't eating enough, like I said. Our food now has about 40% less nutrients than it has had 50 years ago. So even when we are on point with our diet, it's really hard to hit those different numbers for nutrients that we're trying to hit. And then you add into that maybe you're on a calorie restrictive diet because maybe you're trying to lose weight, a GLP-1, something like that. Now that gap grows even bigger. So supplementation really ends up being an important part of the puzzle to feeling the best way that you can. Okay. So before we go into personal testimonies, I want to give you guys an idea of what the studies show for impact. Studies show effects in as little as 14 days, 2 weeks. And that was mind blowing to me because typically supplements is like a 3 to 6 month long game process. It's not 6 months, not a year. But with that, what they did see was the longer the study length, the bigger punch the supplement packed with anthocyanins. Chronic outcomes matter more in the long term. So the metabolic damage that you've been bombarding your body with for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years isn't going to be reversed within 14 days, but the process starts to improve within 14 days, which is really important to know. So bringing it back to Meta, told you guys 215 milligrams, cyanidin and delphinidin. I was like, those are just the two words. I'm like, they don't roll off your tongue. There's lots of INIs in there, the two active compounds. And because this is one of our premium supplements that have so many different benefits, the science builds the trust, but at the end of the day, the stories are what you connect to, actual real life stories. So with that, Kayla, would you be cool to kick it off and share your experience with Meta with us?
Yeah, so thanks, Larry. I just learned a whole bunch of stuff, which is what I love, why I love these Thursday nights. But I'll be honest, when I came to Nu Skin, I didn't have unlimited budget. So maybe some of you have looked at Meta before and you thought like, oh, that's a little bit more of a pricey one. So I want to just be transparent and say I didn't buy the first bottle. I actually got it as a free gift with purchase. Maybe you're watching this and you just scored a bottle of Meta on the Memorial Day weekend sale. So I was really grateful I did because I wouldn't have ever known about it. I probably wouldn't have tried it at least for a while, but I got that free bottle. And so I just started taking it and I didn't know like if it was placebo effect, if I was just like, career change around the same time. Things were changing in our life. We were taking better care of ourselves, but nothing was that dramatically different. So I was trying to figure out like, is it the meta or is it something else? But I just felt pretty instantly like more energy. And before the scale ever started moving, before I really started on a weight loss journey, I noticed that my inflammation, thanks to one of our teammates actually, who took a photo of me from the fall of 2024, and then a photo of me maybe 8 weeks into using Meta. And she said, oh my gosh, how much weight have you lost? She had put it together side by side and sent it to me. And I was like, gosh, if I'm being honest, I think the scale might be up a pound or two. But the inflammation difference in my body, Meta has always worked really well for me from day one. Anytime that I've like just not had my sub and save get here in time, or I ran out, I went on a vacation in February and just only took enough for a week. And then we ended up extending our vacation for a few days. Every time that I go without it, it takes a day or two, and I do genuinely feel a difference. I feel a difference like in my body. I don't know how to explain that. And I feel a difference in my energy levels. And then when I get it back, like running out to the mailbox, get it back. I can't wait to get it back in stock. I just find that within a day or two, again, it's like I'm back to normal. So I take 4 Meta every morning and I take it in the morning. I don't know, Larry, if you're going to give advice on that. I take it in the morning because otherwise I was forgetting. I tried to start taking it at night because I think it's recommended. I don't know, Larry's going to cover that, but I think it's recommended to take it in the evening. I started taking it in the morning because I was forgetting it. And I feel like with any supplement, consistency and doing it, Larry and I have talked about this at any time of the day is better than not getting the good stuff. So I actually wake up, read my Bible, and I take an allergy pill, a birth control pill, not that you want to know, and 4 Meta. And that is my routine. I don't miss it because all those things are very important for my well-being. And so I do that in the morning, and then I take my other new skin supplements throughout the day at different times, and I lay them out on the counter. But I'm just such a huge fan of it. My husband also went off of Meta for a little bit, and he really loves the supplement Youth, which I know is coming up in a future Thursday. He believes in that 100%. So he had gone off of Meta for a bit, just again, budget wise. Okay, I'm always going to be honest and real with people. Like, we're taking quite a few of the supplements, and so you prioritize. And he did not like how he felt without Meta either. So he thought maybe he could just take one and it would like cover the difference. But what Larry just told us is, what Meta specifically does in the science. And Nate found that like those two are not the same. They're both amazing supplements, but as you're going to hear in a coming episode of the ingredient edit, Youth is very different. It's aging your cells backwards. It's doing different things. Some similar, but different. So Nate's back on Meta too. So we were really happy to score some free bottles with the Memorial Day sale because we buy 2 bottles a month. It's on our Sub and Save program. And I can't rave enough about the product, but also about the Sub and Save program. If money is holding you back, try it for the summer. Give yourself June, July, and August if you listen to this or whenever you do 90 days and then go from there and decide, but it'll change your life.
Totally, totally. Thank you for sharing. And uh, when to take it, I completely agree. Consistency at the end of the day doesn't matter if you're consistent. Who cares what time? With the studies, what I would say, if you know you're going to have a really high fat meal, knowing that it's going to help that response after, if you it works that way, great. If not, as long as you're consistent, that's the win. So,
I have seen a couple people put it on their bathroom counter and take it at night, but I will say, like, mine and my husband's bedtime isn't the same.
mm,
So then when I would try to do that and I would forget to have water, and I'm not going to drink our bathroom tap water, like, I'm way too bougie for that. I live at a lake, it's very high. I mean, we have like a water filtration system and everything, but it's really I froze. Am I back? Okay, I think I'm back. I damn internet in the country. I was forgetting because I didn't want to like go through the whole house to have to go get water to and then wake up my family and all the things. So for me, I had to play with that a little bit, but I would tell people that's like the number one thing. People come to me and they're like, "Oh, I bought Meta, but I haven't been using it." And I'm like, "Okay, if I could give any advice on this call, it's to commit to being consistent with something. You miss a day, that's fine. Just pick it up the next day. But if you're doing that all the time, then look at how you're taking it. Like maybe it's got to sit at work on your desk and you leave enough home for the weekend. Maybe it's got to be in your lunch pail or in your car. Get creative, but don't miss it, basically.
yeah, thank you, thank you. And Stacia, would you be willing to share your experience with Meta?
All right. I love, love, love Meta as well. I scored it last year when M Smart actually came out and they paired Meta with it. So that's how I jumped on the Meta train. And I have not turned back because I too feel a huge difference. In less than 30 days, it made a big difference. And I have not ever missed it. I have experimented with a couple of the other things, but I have never missed Meta. And it has been phenomenal. I also last summer did the 7-day colon cleanse and fitness with you. And I lost my menopause weight and I have not gained a single pound of it back. And it is, I know for a fact, due to M Smart and Meta combo. I will not live without those. And back to the cardiovascular thing, my naturopath, when we were talking about the supplements I was taking, she said, "Oh my gosh, I love everything you're doing. Keep it up." But then she wanted me to add something for my liver to do a liver cleanse. But I kid you not, cardiovascular wise. So one way to tell is by looking at your nail beds. And my nail beds were white and they're supposed to be pink. And you can't, I wish you could see them, but I promise you guys, the pink is literally halfway down now. Halfway down my nail bed. It's not to the bottom yet, but it's getting there. So I know then proof that my circulation is for sure improving. So I am super pumped about that. I got a terrible heart history in my family and I have a heart defect and we're not even quite solidified on what it is yet, but I do everything in my power to
Yeah,
care for myself and prevent anything from happening. So,
love it. Thank you
yes.
for sharing. Um, I can tell you guys, Kayla, I had a very similar interaction with one of my friends. I went over her house and she was like, "Oh my God, Larry, you're looking great. Did you lose weight?" And I was like, "Right, I gained like 10 pounds." Like, are you sure? And I was talking to Jamie about this too. I was like, "Yeah, no, I definitely gained weight." And I was talking to my aunt about it, and she's like, "No, your face is looking more trim and chiseled." And I'm like, okay. And then the only conclusion I came to was I added Meta into my routine 2 weeks before, and inflammation must have been what I had lost because I definitely didn't lose weight. I gained weight. And it really is cool when you either feel the difference or see the difference or someone notices the difference. That's when you're like, oh, whoa, okay. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Um, since there's a couple people on, is there anyone else that would want to share about Meta that's been on it? I just want to
I
throw
was
it
just,
out there.
I was going to add, Larry, real quick for anyone on here.
Yeah.
When we went on that vacation, and obviously then my husband ran out, I ran out, we didn't have Meta, and then took us a few days to get home and all the things, right, and get back into routine. We had gained a few pounds, obviously on vacation, which is normal, but we actually just felt puffy. You know, when you eat all those foods and things that you shouldn't have, and we joked that like we didn't feel that way till midway through the trip, and just jokingly we were like, "Oh, we ran out of Meta." But now, as you were sharing, I'm sure it would have genuinely helped us. Again, we depuffed quickly. We got back on the supplements and got moving, but we worked out on vacation and stuff too and didn't drink an excessive amount or anything. But we just felt like as the week went on, you just don't feel normal. And I think that these supplements, sometimes we don't talk enough about you can function without them, but you can be optimal, feel your best, have more energy. Like I'm more vibrant now. I'm turning 40 next year, more than I was in my 20s, hands down. Like I feel the best I have in 2 decades. And I tell people all the time, like to me, that is worth it. And then also say, I froze. I know, I'm done. I'm done. I quit. No, I'm
The
just
best
kidding.
was when you came back, it was like that stone face, like just staring like
I'm just like the internet. I know if you're on here and you've been on a couple calls with me lately, I know I'm gonna have to call and get a new internet. So does everyone on the lake. We all know I'm just dragging my feet. Okay, so give me grace.
um okay. So if there's any questions, you can throw them in the chat. Otherwise, do some research if you want more information. There's so many more things that are out there between your gut microbiome, cognitive health. There's new studies. Anthocyanins, we know tons about them, but there's so much new research coming out too that makes it even more exciting. Um, And like I said, the more I research the anthocyanins, the more I realize it's not just an antioxidant conversation or a berry conversation. It really is a metabolic stress resilience conversation. And if you walk away from tonight with anything, it's that anthocyanins are not just the purple stuff in berries. They're deeply researched plant compounds connected to metabolic health, circulation, oxidative stress, healthy inflammatory response, and your body's ability to respond to all the stresses that you go through every single day. And Meta was intentionally formulated that around that research. Everything from the standardized dose of anthocyanins, the choice of compounds from the targeted purple plants, and over 7 years of development. It's not hype, not magic, but actual targeted plant science. So cool. So if you want more information about Meta or you want to hear more about our experiences with it, definitely reach out to the affiliate that invited you to check this out. And we hope to see you next week. So thanks for hanging with us. Thank you, Stacia and Kayla, for all of your personal testimonies, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.
And thank you. See you guys later.
Good night.
Night.